Hello. Um, so this is a little offering of a water ceremony I was given back a few years ago during lockdown when I was working with sacred earth activism. And it's, I suppose, what I would call a download. It's something that came through in dream with me. What sat behind it was I had been doing some journeying work and visioning work, and I had seen or been shown like a mass birthing of new souls, and that these were coming in waves. Not 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 old souls being born as babies, new souls coming awake in already living people. So it's like the mass awakening, if you like, and it's coming in waves. So this was something that was partly a part of that, this how to aid that awakening and to aid those souls as they tentatively find their first steps here. But also looking at the water and the state of the water and working with the Water is Life movement and seeing what was going on with them as well. And then we look at the state of our rivers and our seas and what we've been doing to our water sources. And I have the absolute joy of living in a very rural area where I can be out there and I can visit quite a lot of very fresh and happy water sources that have not yet been contaminated. So there's an element of helping to, well, it's not helping to, it's more, the idea is a sort of a blessing and a reverence, almost a some way that we can pay back some of the damage we've done by honouring the water. But also, water is our messenger, it is our carrier, it is our commonality amongst all, not just what we see as through our human eyes as living beings, but all entities on this planet carry water. There is no stone, no plant, no creature being, no mineral even that does not have a trace of water in it. It's one of those identifying things that makes us from Terra Earth. So water speaks through everything. It carries a memory. It can hold information, and everything is consciousness. So everything has consciousness. So this is the backdrop behind how I came into this ceremony. So it was coming out, or actually sort of in the middle of lockdown, having to do a lot of things on Zoom. And how do we go out there and bless water when we can't go out there? So it has been designed in such a way that we can do it here. We can do it in our living room. In fact, actually, you can do it with a glass of water and then drink it, because that water will go through you. It will come out the other end. There is a way of, it doesn't matter where water is, if we give it this blessing, if we ask it to carry this awakening message, if we offer this potentization, if you like, everywhere we go, it's going to help. And if the water is sick and needing help, it will help the water that is sick and needing help. And if the water is vibrant and lively, it will carry that message and it will imbue it in everything it touches. That was the idea. So that's the sort of backdrop behind where I was coming from with this. So this was the very first place that I started my personal pilgrimage. So the idea is there's certain things within this ceremony that we can all do. So there's a sigil, a symbol that was partly given to me in vision and partly constructed with my son. I'll discuss that with you as we get there. There is a song. These are things that if we all do it and we share it with everyone we do it with, this is part of what packs the potency into when we share a common ceremony and offer it out there in pilgrimage. And pilgrimage is simply going round to whatever water sources that you can find and offering this blessing. But it can be a bowl of water. It can be something that you've poured into your sink. It can be a glass of water you're going to drink. It doesn't have to be a river or a sea. The pipe that goes into this one is that the local farmer siphons the water off to feed the animals. And the oak overlooks all that I do when I do this little ceremony down at this water course. But I've also done it. There's a well near me, a well spring. It has a little stream with it, which is just potent with fairy magic. It's the only way I can call it. So I have offered this there. I went out and did this for about 2 years. Mostly on my own. So this January I was told I needed to share it again and ask anyone who was willing to come and learn it, to share it, to take it out there and to pilgrimage with me. I did this at the new moon every month and found myself somewhere, and if I couldn't go out I would do it at home. And these little ceremonies can be, really simple. Or they can be quite complex if you want them to be. I've done them at reservoirs, at the seaside, rivers, back at our little well again, filling the bowl with roses. I bring offerings. Sometimes they're simple. Sometimes it's just what I have with me. A little singing bowl. I have my smudge. I take my drum, and it's that simple. Or I'll take some flowers, or I will pick some berries and offer some offerings of nature, or we can get more elaborate. And I start making mandalas. I always think that a ceremony should be a thing of beauty because it's something that we are offering up to the spirits and to nature, and it's all beautiful, and it should be as beautiful as possible. So these are just some examples of how I work. Usually when I go out carrying my little offerings bag, and there's bits and bobs in here. So that would carry mugwort for me here, but it might be white sage where you are, or it might be some dried rosemary or lavender, whatever is a potent herb for you. I've got some Peruvian black tobacco, and that was gifted to me. I have a little bag full of gemstones. These are things that I found, the little fey pixie spring. They like shiny objects. And every time I enter that space, before I cross the bridge, I ask if I'm allowed entry, and I always offer them some beautiful little jewel. And I drop it in the water, or I leave it on the shore. Here's my water I prepared earlier. With a little mandala of things that happen to be available in the garden at the moment. There's not much, it's winter here, but it's just pretty. And some of them are aromatic, and there's some lavender in there, and it smells nice. I bear in mind, if you're going out in nature, that whatever you're going to put in your water, you need to be able to put it out in your water without it disturbing the area around you or the local wildlife. So you just think about these things, and you choose the offerings you make. All of this came from my garden, and this water I'm going to gift back to the garden. But you could also be pouring it down your sink. So again, if you're going to be pouring it down your sink, think about your plumbing. But there is no watercourse that is not special enough. Somebody once said to me when I was first designed this, oh, well, you don't really want to put it down the toilet. That would be disrespectful. But actually, that water needs to be blessed as well as anything else. It's going to go out into our drains. It's going to go to our rivers. It is going to go to our seas. So this is the sigil. Part of it, sigil, powered symbol, potentized symbol. Originally, I saw this kind of shape in a vision. This, I couldn't draw it very well on my computer, so this bit is sort of more eye-shaped, and rather than concentric circles, it's a spiral. So it has a point and a purpose. This is part of the powering up, and in it there is a certain amount of numerology and trying to remember the words of it now. It's dielectric magnetism that my son was studying. So the triangle with the eye and the spiral came to me in vision, and I knew there was something underneath it, and I couldn't quite work it out, and I was trying to draw it, and he was looking over my shoulder, and I explained to him what this sigil was for and what we were going to do with it, and he said, right. So this bit at the bottom here is what he gifted me, and there's an order in which you draw it. So I'd like you to practice this, and I will pop a PDF of it for you to download in the chat so that you can learn it. This sigil is something that I will, if I'm in a river or something, I will draw it into the riverbed if I can. Otherwise, I will draw it into the water, and I draw it on my temple, on my forehead, when I bring the water to my forehead, but I'll explain all of that in a minute. So the order, if we follow the numbers and my arrow here, is we start at 1 and we are drawing this, what looks like a boxed, almost W. The symbology in this is that it has the flow of the infinity, that sort of figure of 8. And in this form, with its numbers, you don't have to draw the numbers when you take it out there, but you have this in mind. When we keep this flow going round, it is the sacred masculine and the sacred feminine in perfect balance. And they hold the pivot of life there in that form. So this is the bit that you would draw first, following from the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then coming to the triangle, which is that trinity. To me, it's the triple aspect. For the feminine, it's the maiden warrior crone. Again, it represents balance. You can't have balance with even numbers. You cannot have balance with 2. You can only have balance with 3. There has to be a pivot point. It's what also stops arguments, isn't it? You have the third person in there. So this was important that we had this triangle of 3 here. And then in the center, as I said, this is an eye. And it's the sacred spiral in the center of the eye. And the sacred spiral is like all circles. If you think all circles, are you looking down the spiral from the top looking down? So it is that perpetuity of life, that constant cycling. So it also mirrors that figure of 8 that we've got at the bottom there. And then we also have a song that we sing, and this song was given to me by the river as I sat by it, with the idea of this is, in a way, this is what we are trying to do with this ceremony, is build consciousness in ourselves and in others. It's waking up, it's bringing in the light. So it's weave a web of consciousness, weave a web of light, rise into my temple and give this gift of life. Weave a web of consciousness, weave a web of light, rise into my temple and give this gift of sight. And you can repeat that as much as you like. I will sing it in a minute with the melody that was given me, but most of this, I think, you take it on, you do it the way you want to do it. As long as we do the sigil and as long as we have those words and it has that sort of that style of repetition, then we are all working together. But you can make it your own and be fluid and flexible with it. So the melody that was given to me by the little river as I sat by it: weave a web of consciousness, weave a web of light, rise into my temple and give this gift of life. Weave a web of consciousness, weave a web of light, rise into my temple and give this gift of sight. And you can take that where you want. So looking at our little bowl of water, what I would be doing with that sigil and that song in the water is I would be making that sigil and singing the song at the same time. So weave a web of consciousness, weave a web of light, rise into my temple and give this gift of life. Weave a web of consciousness, weave a web of light, rise into my temple and give this gift of life. Bringing the water to my temple. Weave a web of consciousness, weave a web of light, rise into my temple and give this gift of life. And you can go on for as long as you like, or make it as short as you like. So that is basically what I do. And I will do that at rivers, seas, water courses, or here, like I've got with the bowl here, and then that will be taken out into the garden when I have finished. As with all of this, it's the intent you've got in your heart that matters. So if we understand that backdrop to why this is here, why we are doing this, we are doing it for ourselves. I certainly feel that when I am out there. I want to be more awake. I want to be more conscious. I want to be more here and in the now, because then I'm being a better version of myself. I want to help make reparation as much as I possibly can for some of the damage that our species has done. And it's small drops, I know, but every small drop helps. So that's the sort of the heart with which I am out there doing that. Bless you all. Thank you very much.